Support for the Heel Tough Blog podcast comes from Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Look, guys, we've all been there. We've all been trimming. All of a sudden, we clip something we don't want to clip. You don't want to do that. Make sure you take care of your downstairs area, just like the Tar Heels have to make sure they take care of Sam Howell. We don't want to have to put the backup in. And guess what? There's no backup for your balls. So that's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their Lawnmower 2.0 has proprietary skin-safe technology, so this trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. That's right, manscaping accidents are finally a thing of the past, and come on, guys, don't use the same trimmer on your face that you're using on your balls. Let's just be honest, that is disgusting. Manscaped also has the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer, so you don't have to use any of those powders or whatever. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why not put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? Right now, you can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code BIGHEADS. That's all one word, BIGHEADS, at manscaped.com. Always use the right tools for the job. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BIGHEADS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code BIGHEADS to get your Manscaped product today.
Davis steps under center. Gibson and McClendon behind him. Davis with motion by Richard. Will give the ball to McClendon. He leaps. Oh, he doesn't get in. He fumbled the football. Carolina holds. The game is over. And Carolina has won the game.
Finley to throw. Over the middle, intercepted. Wolford again. Wolford the other way. At the 30, the 40. Wolford to midfield. Miles Wolford with the pick. The Heels on the doorstep of an enormous victory.
Left side of the line. Hood standing to Williams is right. Williams gonna throw. One-on-one. Davis has it. Touchdown. Carolina wins. Carolina is the Coastal Division champion. Bernard fields it at the 26. Heading to the far side. Gio at the 35. Gio, he's at the 50. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Gio is going to take it for a touchdown. Are you kidding me?
Connor Barth for the possible win. Snap, spot, kick away, high enough, long enough. It's good! It's good! Carolina has won the game on a 42-yard field goal by freshman Connor Barth. Good gosh dirty!
This is the Heel Tough Blog podcast. Hey guys, and welcome into this edition of the Heel Tough Blog podcast. It is Anthony Pagnotta back with you guys as always, and today we are back to having some exclusive guests on the podcast, and we welcome in from Heels Maven. It is Brant Wilkerson, and Brant, we want to start by giving you an opportunity to clarify for the fan base that you are in fact not the man that was referenced in the tweet that we saw the other night, that a Carolina basketball writer makes around $900,000 a year. You cleared it up for all of the media members the other day, up in front of everybody before one of the press. What was that? Was that Courtney Banghart's press conference before
before we had the football players that we talked to on
Gotcha.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you announced to all of them that you are not the mystery man. So we just want to give you a chance to clarify that and not get some of the criticism that I feel like most people would be throwing your way for getting that much money with what is considered a brand new company.
No, I am indeed not making $900,000, unfortunately. Maybe in the future, but for now, I need people to get to the website and give me some clicks if we want to get anywhere close to that. But it's going to be a while before we get in that range.
See, there we go. See, then you won't be accepting any of my messages to come on the podcast because you'll be just a little bit too famous for us. But No, we really appreciate you stopping by, man. And we thought we'd have you on, ask you a couple questions about this Carolina football team right now that comes into Saturday's game against Mercer 4-6 on the season. I mean, look, 9 of the 10 games so far this year have been one possession games. They are just 3-6 in those games, though, so far. Is it really this simple to say that, it's because of the injuries, that it's because of the youth on this team, or is there maybe a bigger issue here that we're just not really focusing on because of, those injuries and the youth?
No, I think that's exactly it. If this were the same team, if you had Miles Wolfolk and you had Patrice Renee on the field, as you did in the first 1.5 games for Patrice Renee. But really, I think it comes down to what went missing as to why. We saw Charlie Heck get hurt against Wake Forest, and he wasn't quite himself for the rest of that game. And obviously, Wake had something to do with the way that game went. But Carolina's offensive line could not do anything in that game. Sam Howell was under all kinds of pressure. And then the problems that we've seen more recently have been on the defensive side. And it hasn't necessarily always been the secondary, but it has been because of the secondary. Because, you've got Storm Duck back there. You're working in a couple of freshmen. You got Don Chapman and Gio. You've got so many young guys back there playing. You got DeAndre Hollins, who didn't even begin the season as a cornerback, going over there and playing a lot of corner. And because of that, Carolina's had to adjust some of the things it's doing defensively to protect those guys and keep them from getting one-on-one matchups with Greg Ross and one-on-one matchups with Storm Duck, he's pretty good, but he's a freshman, and there's so much for him to learn. So I think really, if this were the same team that had stayed healthy all year, I think we would have seen some different results.
Well, one of the big, things that has kind of been lacking here over the last few games since that secondary has become so banged up and so young is the pass rush, mainly from the defensive line. And it's like you said, Jay Bateman has to kind of scheme to try to help out some of these young guys in the secondary. That means he's not able to blitz as much as he liked to early in the year. But the problem is that that's when it seems like Carolina is able to get pressure on the quarterback is when they scheme up those blitzes where they blitz one of their two inside linebackers, Jeremiah Gemmel or Chad Surratt. It just seems like the defensive line is not where they were early in the year. Early in the year, they really looked like a unit that was dominant and kind of the unit that we thought they could be coming into the season. And now, they've really struggled since that game against Virginia Tech. Why do you think that they're having these types of issues, and how do they get this back on track here in the last couple of games of the season?
Yeah, it's been a challenge because I think Mac has referenced a couple times. They had Aaron Crawford on the field for 90 plays against Virginia Tech, and Aaron Crawford is a big, tough dude, but you just can't do that with a 300-and-something-pound defensive lineman. And really, that's kind of been the thing is it's been him and Jason Strobridge up there have been the only two consistent guys. And
right.
They've tried to work in a little more youth behind them here in the past few weeks, but those guys just clearly aren't as good as the other two. So I think there's a little bit of I think that Bateman was talking a little bit on Monday about, sometimes we're going to have to live with some things now. So I think that you might see Carolina get back to a little more of that blitzing over these next few weeks. And what happens with the corners is what happens with the corners. Although, he did talk a little bit about where cornerbacks can suffer if they get thrown into a situation where, they're getting picked on a little bit. It can be tough to get their confidence back up for a while, but that's a tough balance they're going to have to find if they want to get to a bowl game. And I think Bateman's going to try to find a little more of that balance with bringing some pressure here against Mercer and State.
Well, Bateman should be getting a little help from an offense that has gotten into a rhythm, especially the passing game. And it really starts with the quarterback, Sam Howell. Look, he enters the game just one touchdown pass short of tying Mitch Trubisky for the single-season record, too short of breaking that. How special is this young man, and what do you think his ceiling is going forward?
I mean, I think a lot of teams in the country would kill to be in the position that Carolina is with Sam Howell moving forward and having so much of the offense coming back. I was looking at it the other day, and so it's 100% of the passing yards, 98% of the receiving yards, and I think 86% of the rushing yards are going to be back next season, based on the current stats. So, I mean, that's just a ridiculous amount of continuity for your offense, and the line is going to be pretty well intact, with guys that have gotten a ton of experience aside from Charlie Heck. So, I mean, I think the sky really is the limit for Sam Howell, and I think, we've only just begun to see what he can do, because the offense has not really been able to go full playbook yet because of the situation that they're in, with not really having a backup quarterback right now, and some of the offensive line struggles they've had. So when next season and beyond, when they kind of open up the playbook a little more and allow some of the more the running stuff that they need to do, that opens up the field more for Sam Howell, I think that, when it's all said and done, we're going to see Sam Howell become a Heisman candidate in his last year in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, that would be an exciting thing to see, especially with the struggles that the Tar Heels had at quarterback over the last couple of years. They had some struggles running the football over the last few seasons as well. That seemed to dissipate a little bit this season with a group of guys in the backfield that have performed extremely well. You mentioned it, 86% of that will be back next season, the production that we've seen there. Is it safe to say that heading into next year, this unit could be one of the better ones in the country that people are just not talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Javonte Williams, he's got a shot at 1,000-yard season here, and that's pretty darn good for a guy that really didn't get any kind of consideration from bigger programs. And then Michael Carter is a guy that's going to be a threat to go the distance every single time he touches the ball. So I think they've got some really good chances to do some things, and the offensive line is certainly going to be better next year, I would think. Even though you do lose Charlie Heck, who's really good, but the rest of the offensive line is going to be so much more experienced and so much more tested with what they've kind of gone through this year at times, which hasn't always been fun to go through for them, I'm sure. But those two guys are going to be the perfect balance for what they want to do. And I think that aside from running the ball, I think Phil Longo gives those guys a great chance to catch passes out of the backfield, which is going to be another big weapon for him, especially for Michael Carter.
Well, let's not act like this offense has been perfect so far this season. One of the biggest issues is that, between the 20s, this is a really good football team, but let's be honest, they're not really putting the ball in the end zone when they get in the red zone. Of their 39 red zone appearances, just 19 have resulted in touchdowns. Do you think that this is something that can be fixed starting now, or is this something that you probably have to wait until the offseason and Mac Brown's really going to have to sit down and go through everything over the past few years with Phil Longo's offense to try to figure out just why this team can't put it in the end zone?
Yeah, that is kind of that was the one knock in the preseason research that I was doing on Phil Longo's offense, is that when he was at Ole Miss, it didn't necessarily have a whole lot of success in the red zone. It was a fairly low touchdown percentage. They were pretty good at getting field goals down there, and we've seen some of that at Carolina this year, which is. It's hard to say what it is. Is it the play calling? Is it just the lack of being able to run your quarterback? That's something that I asked him about on Monday, and he kind of said, it would be a really big benefit for us if we were able to run our quarterback in the red zone more, but that's something they just don't have the luxury of right now with Chase Ruder injured. So I think that it is something that can change, because it's something that Mac Brown has locked in on, and he mentioned it several times on Monday. So, I would have to feel pretty confident as a Carolina fan moving forward if it's something that Mac Brown has really locked his mind on, and it's something that he wants to sit down and study. I think that's a pretty good guy to have in the room to get something figured out with that. So I think we're going to see a little bit of improvement in that regard, especially against Mercer and NC State, who isn't neither of those defenses are setting the world on fire. So I think you might see a little bit of improvement, but I think the real jump is going to come when they can get back to running Sam Howell down there, because early in the year they did a lot of that. Right. They scored one of the touchdowns against maybe it was not a touchdown, it was a 2-point conversion against South Carolina and like that, and that was what they wanted to do against Clemson. It just didn't work out because Clemson made a great read on the play, but I think they really need to be able to run Sam Howell near the goal line a little more.
Brant, what has to happen for this team to make a bowl game, and ultimately do you think they get it done?
I do. I think they show up on Saturday. They play a complete game against Mercer, which, not a very good FCS team right now. But the thing is with Carolina is that regardless of who they're playing on Saturday, it could be Mercer, it could be Alabama, what you really want them to see, because we've seen it so rarely, is to have them come out and play a complete game. Just put it all together for 4 quarters, keep the pedal to the metal, and I'm sure they're going to try to work in some seniors and work in some reserves to see what they got in the younger guys. But as long as you're seeing that full 60-minute effort, and I think you're happy with that. And, going over to NC State next week, I think it's just been a really, really rough one for NC State, where I think that they don't really have a whole lot of offensive firepower right now. And I think it's going to be tough for them to keep up. And Carolina, I believe, is going to go over there and beat them by, 7 to 14 points and get into that bowl game. And we'll see if we end up in Shreveport or Detroit or wherever. But really the most important thing for Carolina out of that is going to be the chance to get a couple extra weeks of practice.
Brant Wilkerson-New of Heels Maven. Great stuff, man. Love having you on. That was fantastic. And we definitely have to have you on a lot more, man. You do some great work over there. May not be making $900,000 a year, but you're doing some great work over there. Tell the people where they can find all your stuff at so they don't miss any of the stuff you're putting out.
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at Brant Heels Maven, Brant Heels Maven, and the website is si.com/college/UNC, which it seems like we could find something a little easier than that, but it's been fun so far, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, Brant. Hey, take care, buddy. We'll talk to you down the line, and hopefully your prediction comes true, and this team will get those extra practices and ultimately be able to go and enjoy a bowl game and find a way to add a little more experience to what should be an exciting team next year in 2020.
Awesome.
All right. So that is Brant Wilkerson-New of Heels Maven, which is the newer website that they're kind of working with for Sports Illustrated. Some great stuff there. So want to thank him for stopping by with us and breaking down what will be an exciting finish to this 2019 season for the Tar Heels. Of course, it begins against Mercer at 3:30 on Raycom Sports Network, which is basically your local Fox Sports station. So here in the Charlotte area, it's going to be Fox Sports Southeast is where you can catch it, which is basically, again, the same spots where you found the game against App State, game against Virginia Tech, and the game against Duke. That's where you can watch this game for the Tar Heels. Or, of course, you can check out our friend Jones Angel. He'll be on the call along with Brian Simmons on the Tar Heels Sports Network. And then, of course, the Tar Heels will prepare for the road battle against NC State to close down the season. Tar Heels got to win the last 2 if they want to go bowling. And as Brant said, the more important thing is getting those extra practices in together. And then, of course, they'll be able to go out, hopefully, and play in a bowl game. But we'll have you covered on the Heel Tough blog and the Heel Tough blog podcast. Of course, you guys can check out the Mercer preview on the podcast. We did that the other day, as well as we had a in-depth discussion about where Mitch Trubisky's career, the former North Carolina Tar Heel, where his career stands at right now with the Chicago Bears. Very interesting stuff there. A little bit of a back and forth between me and Josh. We don't disagree much, but that was one of the moments. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Make sure you also go and check the Heel Tough blog for all of your latest football news. That includes Brant Lawless Sherrill's transfer I almost said Brant Wilkerson's transfer. He's still, as you heard, he's still with the covering the Tar Heels, so don't worry about that. But no, Brant Lawless Sherrill, his transfer from North Carolina, reportedly in the transfer portal, according to Inside Carolina, and we have that article up there for you, so make sure you guys go and read what that'll mean for this Tar Heel defensive line the rest of this season and then in 2020, as well as you can go back and look at some of our articles from the Pittsburgh game to try to get a feel on what this Tar Heel team will be able to will be building off of coming into the game against Mercer. We'll have the full Mercer preview up there for you. That'll be up tomorrow afternoon. For your reading pleasure. That'll also have a link to the Mercer Preview podcast, so you can check it out there. Make sure you guys go back and check that one out. Make sure you go and check out the Roy's Boys podcast as well. On the website, you can go to on HeelToughBlog.com. Right at the top, you got the Heel Tough Blog podcast tab. Right next to it is the Roy's Boys podcast tab. Click on that. We have your Elon recap as we recap another ugly win last night in the Smith Center. A great performance, though, from Armando Bacot. And then, of course, you can go back, listen to all of the old episodes, go back into some of the ones we did over the summer, some great sit-downs with Matt Doherty, as well as plenty of other great Carolina journalists as well that helped break down this team for you. So make sure you go back, listen to those editions of the Roy's Boys podcast. We'd really appreciate it. So, once again, want to thank Brant Wilkerson-New for stopping by. Want to thank you guys for listening. And as always, go Tar Heels!